Most people treat calf training like an afterthought, an optional add-on if there's time left at the end of a workout, a few half-hearted calf raises, just enough to check the box. But if you're an athlete or just want to move like one, your calves deserve way more attention than that, because they're not just about aesthetics. Strong, reactive calves help you accelerate faster, cut sharper, and jump higher. They stabilize your ankles, absorb impact, and help protect your Achilles and knees. They're a key part in what makes your movement look and feel explosive. But most of the training you see for calves doesn't reflect any of that. It's all about size or burn, not performance. So that's why I approach calf training differently. In this video, I'll show you 5 exercises I use to build calves that do more than just look good. They help me run faster, jump higher, stay agile, and minimize risk for injury. Let's get into it. Exercise number 1 is a weighted standing calf raise. Now, I will admit that it actually took us a while to adapt to the idea that calf raises are important for athletes or people who want to move like an athlete. We definitely viewed them more as a bodybuilder type of exercise. And so even though this video is how to train your calves like an athlete, not a bodybuilder, I do want to give bodybuilders their flowers because they have been doing calf raises and we haven't. A lot of athletes have been neglecting some of the smaller muscles in exchange for doing more compound lifts, more, a lot of the things that we talk about with strength training that are really important, using multiple joints and multiple muscles at the same time. But your calves are such an important part of protecting your feet, your ankles, your knees, and they do need some specific love. And so thank you to bodybuilders for always keeping them in the mix, and we're excited to introduce a little bit more of an athletic spin to the way that bodybuilders have historically done them. And one really funny moment when Jason and I were watching Hard Knocks, Amon-Ra St. Brown's dad who's his trainer, called out Kevin Durant for never having done a calf raise before.
I have a question for guys like Kevin Durant. When's the last time you did a calf raise?
And it just kind of made us chuckle because we were in the same boat previously where we just weren't doing calf raises, we weren't viewing them as important, and we were starting to get some aches and pains in our Achilles and our ankles. And once we started to incorporate more athletically inclined calf raise variations, we've really felt a difference. So we're excited to show you some of those moves today. Okay, so anyway, story time over, back to the exercises. We're doing a weighted double leg, straight leg calf raise. So this is where we're really going to load the muscle heavy. This is important, and I think this is something a lot of people skip. They do a lot of calf raises just body weight, single leg calf raises body weight, but we forget to load it up heavy. But the calf is a muscle, just like any other muscles. We want to train it hard and we want to train it heavy. And the best way to do that is either with a barbell on your back, or they have calf raise machines at gyms where you kind of like put it over your shoulders and you can do it that way. Smith machine is also a totally great option as well. So whatever setup you have where you can put a lot of weight on your shoulders so that it's loading up your calves as much as possible. If you're gonna do it with a barbell, we're gonna make sure it's on that upper shelf of your traps. So you're just getting a nice good position here, just like you're about to do a back squat or any type of barbell lift. And we're gonna stand up with it, take a step back, and then from there, we're standing with our feet about hip width apart, toes pointed straight forward, and you're just thinking about driving into the balls of your feet and lifting your heels up, squeezing the calves at the top and lowering down under control. We don't want to just flop down. We want to actually control the concentric and the eccentric part of this movement. And this exercise is going to specifically focus on the gastrocnemius, so that's the big kind of outer part of the calf. And we want to do this with straight legs. We want to do this with 2 legs on the ground so that we can get as much weight as possible. So we're going to have other variations where we make it a little bit more athletic. This is the one where we're just loading up, going heavy. The weighted double leg standing calf raise has athletic carryover because it builds concentric and eccentric strength in the calves. It improves ankle extension power during toe off and sprinting and jumping, and it helps strengthen the Achilles tendon to reduce injury risk under load. Exercise number 2 is a single leg calf raise from a deficit. All right, now for this move, we're moving on to a single leg variation and we're increasing the range of motion. So we want something where you can elevate your foot so that when you get to the bottom, you're actually gonna be below parallel with your heel. So you're getting a little bit of an extra stretch in your calf here, and then you can press up here. So the single leg calf raise is harder than a lot of people think. It kind of looks pretty easy, it looks pretty simple, but if you haven't done them especially, they're pretty challenging. What we're gonna be doing is from this deficit, you're on the ball of your foot, you're first letting your heel drop as low as you can, and then you're driving straight up and then lowering back down. And we wanna make sure that as you drive up, you're not letting your ankle roll out or collapse in. We wanna think about staying straight up and down, all the way, big stretch, all the way up tall. And for those of you who do 2-3 reps and you immediately start to cramp, I do have a way to ease into this variation, which is to do a double leg concentric and then a single leg eccentric, because training the eccentric strength of a movement actually just helps to build that muscle and make it more prepared to do the concentric version later. So what that means is you're gonna start from a deficit on 2 feet, you're gonna drive up with both, then you're gonna lift one leg off and slowly return to the bottom, and then use the other leg to help you up again. So the focus is on this part. The focus is on the down portion until you get to the full stretch. Then you can just use that other foot for a little bit of assistance to get back up to the top. And once you can do about 12, 15 reps of those, then you can start to try the single leg version, and that should feel a lot stronger and a lot better. The single leg calf raise from a deficit has athletic carryover because it trains each leg independently, which is key for sprinting, jumping, and cutting. It improves balance and proprioception at the foot and the ankle. It enhances control through a full range of motion, mimicking real-world loading patterns, and it builds resilience for single leg landings and quick direction changes. Exercise number 3 is bent leg calf raises. Okay, so I promised that we are gonna do more than just calf raises in this video, but there are 3 calf raise variations that I really wanted to go over because they do all have such different benefits. So we started with the heavy loaded 2-legged calf raise with straight legs. Then we went to the single leg calf raise with a straight leg. Now we're going to a single leg calf raise or a double leg calf raise with a bent leg. And the reason we want to do a bent leg variation is because that's going to hit the soleus, which is a deeper stabilizing muscle that's really helpful with deceleration, which is something that a lot of athletes, but also runners and anyone who's really moving quickly is going to need to be resilient and strong. So we want to do this bent leg variation. Now there's a couple ways you can do it. Some gyms will have a machine where you can sit and just do a seated calf raise where the weight is on your knees. That's great. If you don't have that option, you can do it with a weight like a kettlebell on your knee here. And you can either do it here, like I'm showing, up and down, or you can also place your foot, your bottom foot, on a weight plate and get that extra stretch at the bottom so that you're getting even bigger range of motion. So either way, that's fine, but you wanna make sure you're not lifting the weight off your knee. You're letting it rest on your leg as much as possible, so you're adding weight down to that foot, and then we're coming up and thinking about really squeezing, trying to think about bringing your heel toward your Achilles as much as possible. So you're like coiling here as much as you can, and then back down. That's one bent leg variation that you can do seated. Another way you can do it is standing using a support. So you can have a weight in the hand of the leg that you're going to be working. So if I'm working my left leg, I'm holding it with my left hand, and we're gonna bend your knee, and you wanna be off of something so again, you can get that extra stretch. Bend your knee, have that weight kind of pulling you down, adding load, and then from there, lifting up and lowering back down. But as you lift up, you're not straightening out, you're keeping your knee bent, so you're hitting that soleus muscle in that bent leg variation. So that one I would say has even a little bit more athletic carryover because you're also incorporating balance and stability, whereas the seated one you can load up a little bit heavier and get a little bit stronger. Bent leg calf raises have athletic carryover because they strengthen the soleus, which is important for deceleration. They support knee and ankle integrity, especially when absorbing impact, and they're crucial for lower limb durability and injury prevention. Exercise number 4 is the pogo hop. All right, so now we're gonna finally get a little bit more dynamic with our calf training, a little bit more athletic, and we're gonna go into pogo hops. There's a lot of different variations, a lot of different ways you can approach this, but basically what we're trying to emphasize is quickness and reducing ground contact time as you jump. So a regular jump, you're bending your knees and you're using your whole body to help you get off the ground. Pogo hops, we're really just using stiffness at the ankle, and we're just moving through the ankle and the foot. We're not getting a lot of knee bend or a lot of other muscles coming in. We're really focusing on the lower leg. It's really similar to jump roping. So jump roping is an alternative to pogos. Pogos are just great if you don't have a jump rope. But really what we're thinking about is we're just going light on the feet, trying to be bouncy, and trying to get as little ground contact time as possible. So ground contact time just means how long your foot is down on the ground before you accelerate off the ground. So we're just trying to go as springy and quick as you can. Now, 2-legged pogo hops are kind of a great place to start. You can also advance them to single-leg pogo hops. So you just have one leg off the ground, and then we're just pogo hopping on one leg. That ups the ante a lot. You can kind of bridge that gap with a staggered stance pogo hop, where you're one foot in front of the other, and you can kind of put more of the emphasis on that front foot. so it's almost like an assisted single leg. But if all of that feels like a little bit too much, you can also do band assisted. So you can have a band wrapped around a pull-up bar, and you can hold onto it here, pull it down toward your chest, and then that's gonna give you a little bit of extra lightness. It's basically gonna take a little bit of your body weight out of the equation and help you to be a little more light on your feet. So whatever pogo variation you choose, we're just thinking about reducing ground contact time, being super quick and reactive, and they're a lot of fun. Pogo hops have athletic carryover because they train reactive strength and tendon stiffness, which are essential for sprinting and jumping. They mimic the spring-like qualities needed in sport for explosive takeoffs and fast transitions. They improve the rate of force development at the ankle joint, and they build neuromuscular coordination for quick, bouncy footwork. Move number 5 is floating heel exercises. All right, so this is where we get to combine calf isolation work with compound exercises, so it's really like the best of both worlds. We're gonna do floating heel variations of different movements that you do in the gym with your lower body. So lunges, reverse lunges, squats. You can kind of apply this concept to any lower body exercise that you want, specifically more of the quad dominant exercises where you're letting your knees go forward over your toes. So 2 options here. One is to have a plate where your forefoot is on the plate and your heel is off. So that's just kind of automatically creating that floating heel scenario. And then you can do a lunge, you can do a split squat, and you're just having that heel be unsupported so that your calf, ankle, and Achilles all have to work to stabilize. If you don't have a plate or if you don't like it doing it that way, you can just do it with your feet on the ground, but your heel just stays elevated throughout the movement. So you're basically doing like a little mini calf raise as you're going through the exercise. When we're doing floating heel for lateral movements, like a lateral lunge, I actually prefer not using the plate because it can be hard to always hit the exact same spot. So I like just doing it on the floor, but only having your toes hit the ground and then having your heel up, pushing off and coming back. So you're here, pushing off and coming back. I really like the idea of doing this in the sagittal plane and also doing it in other planes of motion so that we're not just doing the forward and back plane, which is not necessarily applicable to sports. I mean, we do sagittal plane work, but we also do a lot of multiplanar movements as well. Floating heel exercises have athletic carryover because they reinforce calf engagement through loaded movement patterns, not just isolated reps. They train calf isometric strength during movements, simulating sport demands like cutting or shuffling. They build control and stability at the forefoot, vital for multi-directional movement, and they're great for foot and ankle durability, especially for athletes returning from injury. And there you have it, 5 calf exercises that build real strength, power, and athletic carryover. Add a few of these into your routine and you'll feel the difference, whether you're sprinting, cutting, jumping, or just moving with more strength and stability. And remember, your calves aren't just for looks. They're built for speed, injury reduction, and helping you move like an athlete. If you're looking for workouts that combine strength, mobility, and athletic performance, check out our free guide, Sustainable Strength. It includes a sample week of workouts to help you train smarter. You can find the link in the description box below. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this, and let us know in the comments what you'd like to see from us next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.